And this was a massive game. This is one of those career games from Caitlin Clark. This is one of those career games from Caitlin Clark. This is one of those games you look back on and you look back and say, okay, this is one of those top games. And I'm going to be real. This was incredible. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are trying to get to 60k as soon as possible. And if we're live on stream, if we could get to 700 likes, if we get to 500 on the video, that would be incredible. But the Indiana Fever, as you guys can see here, let's look at the score differential here. The Indiana Fever, I shit you not, we're down 19-3. They were down 19-3. They hit a buzzer beater to make it 19-6. This was the Kelsey Mitchell. This was the Kelsey Mitchell show. This was everything bad about Kelsey Mitchell. Look, we all know when it comes to Kelsey Mitchell, you take the good with the bad. You take the good with the bad. Like, she is a all-world scorer. That was, in my opinion, this is the bad of the Kelsey Mitchell experience. Today was, I felt like a fantastic, was a third quarter from Kelsey. Kelsey had like a 3-minute spell where she was exceptional. I thought it was an overall really poor game from Kelsey. But you're still going to look at the box score and she's going to have 22 points. Like, that is what we call an all-world score. But it's very, very clear that who the best player in the Fever is. Everything is clear. So, obviously, they're down 19-3. Caitlin Clark, you heard by the commentators that Caitlin Clark is she said during the timeout or the time between quarters, she pulls the team aside and goes, "Run. Everyone needs to cut. Everyone needs to cut." And she comes out in the second quarter. And I mean this. Turnover, miss. That's the first two things she does. Sorry, it's miss, turnover. Caitlin Clark missed her first 5 shots today. She didn't hit 8 of her next 12. But like, she's sprinting, she's going. Miss, turnover. It's funny, the underlying stats in this game say that the Mercury should have been a 2-point game. It was miss, turnover. And I literally tweeted out. I tweeted out this while this was happening, by the way. Because the Fever of both their misses got offensive boards and they just looked better. Let's look better. These are some of my tweets as she was miss turnover. I don't care if Caitlin shoots 0 for 20 or turns it over 15 times. Her pushing the pace and trying to put the team on her back is the only way this team wins tonight. Aggressive mistakes are 100 times better than whatever the hell they were doing in the first quarter. Eventually staying aggressive is going to pay off. And it fucking paid off. Because Caitlin Clark, in the second quarter, had 15 points and 3 assists. The best quarter of her career. By a mile. Because the Fever went from down 16 points on the buzzer of the first quarter to tied at halftime, and they had a 4-point lead in the third quarter. They then went up 16 points halfway to the third. Caitlin Clark had 0 points, 0 assists, 1 rebound in the first quarter. Caitlin Clark, after that, ended the game. Or not even ended the game. She ended the game with 24-9. But she had 19-8. She had 19-8. And I was halfway through the third quarter. And then obviously she gets subbed off for a little bit for a rest. And then the whole brawl situation happens. And I'm going to be real. Alyssa Thomas is the softest, is charm and soft. She is charm and soft. That's all I'm going to say. So if you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark had the previous possession. Caitlin Clark fouled DeWanna Bonner. So Caitlin Clark kind of she tried to do the vet move thing where Caitlin kind of hooks DeWanna's arm and then Caitlin kind of tries to make it seem like DeWanna hooked her arm and draw an offensive foul. Caitlin fouled DeWanna Bonner. And the next possession, DeWanna Bonner has post position on Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark fouls her. She fouls DeWanna. And DeWanna flails back and hits Caitlin Clark. So the referees then everyone then gets into it. So obviously, Maisha Hines-Allen, the enforcer, is kind of, okay, I'm going to get myself involved. And then Alyssa Thomas gets herself involved to defend Dawana Bonner. And while this is happening, Caitlin just walks away. And everything stops. And then the referees, technical foul, Caitlin Clark. Technical foul on Caitlin Clark. And it's like, oh, wait, what? And Caitlin Clark's like, I didn't do anything. Caitlin Clark got teed up for getting hit. She did commit a defensive foul that wasn't called, but she literally got a tack for getting hit. And then, as this is happening, Maisha Hines-Allen and AT are getting in a double text, whatever. And Sophie Cunningham just stands there pointing at Dawana Bonner. Just pointing at her, laughing. And like, she's pointing at her, smiling and not even opening her mouth. Pointing at her, and Dawana's losing it. She keeps saying stuff to Sophie, and Sophie just keeps pointing at her, and she just keeps progressively getting angrier and angrier to the extent where Natasha Mack has to drag Dawana Bonner off. And Sophie Cunningham gets teed up for pointing. Like, I'm gonna be honest. She got teed up for pointing. She got teed up for pointing her finger. I'm like, it is the most objectively hilarious technical foul I have ever seen in my life. I fully stand by that is the funniest technical foul. Like, that's one of those ones where you're like, in the Hall of Fame of funny techs, standing there pointing at somebody as they progressively get closer and closer to losing it is one of the funniest ones I have ever seen in my entire life. Then, obviously, the fourth quarter was just the referees calling every single foul to make sure nobody went overboard. And as that happened, the Mercury, what's her name? The Mercury just started trying to cheap shot the Fever players. It's as simple as that. Caitlin Clark got a foul picked up because she apparently, Alyssa Thomas had a wayward elbow and Caitlin Clark hit Alyssa Thomas's elbow with her chest, and not the fact that Alyssa Thomas swung an elbow at Caitlin Clark. No, she actually chested Alyssa Thomas's elbow, according to the referees. And look, it was a crazy game, but the Fever lose this game by 40 points. The Fever looked dead. The Fever looked lost. This was Caitlin Clark. This was all Caitlin Clark. And I mean that. Like, I think there were positives in this game for other players. I think Kelsey Mitchell had a really good spell of about 3 minutes. I think Aaliyah was very poor. I think Mo Billings was incredible. I can't say all Caitlin Clark. Mo Billings was incredible. This is her best game. I thought Raven was good. Shout out MHA getting yourself tossed. Shout out, like, that's what you're meant to be. That's what an enforcer does. It's just unfortunate that Alyssa Thomas is charm and soft and she has to go and hit you and then walk away. She has to go and hit you with an elbow and meet the first possession after that and then walk away to get you tossed. Look, it is what it is, unfortunately. And people being like, oh, Caitlin Clark didn't get a double-double. I don't think Caitlin gives a shit. I don't think Caitlin cares. She's already has the most 20 and 10 games in WNBA history. It really doesn't matter. Like, she's now broke a record previously set by Caitlin Clark a month ago for the most 20 and 5 assist games in a row. But this was Caitlin Clark. This was Caitlin Clark basically taking a quarter where Aaliyah Boston looked like she didn't want to be there. Kelsey Mitchell had... This is one of those games where you're going to look back and look at the box score and say, oh, Kelsey wasn't that bad. She was horrendously awful. Like, Kelsey Mitchell had a 3-minute purple patch when they were already up 10 to make it a 10 to 20 point game. She was outside of that. Like, in 31 minutes, Kelsey Mitchell played 28 completely garbage minutes. Albeit, again, had that flurry, which is what Kelsey Mitchell does, which is why you keep Kelsey Mitchell on the team. Which is saying not keep Kelsey Mitchell, which is why you keep feeding Kelsey Mitchell, because she can always do that. But Caitlin Clark, in that second quarter, was with a lineup where Aaliyah's on the bench, Kelsey Mitchell's on the bench. It's Caitlin, it's Raven, it's Maisha, it's Sophie, and it's Mo Billings. And Caitlin just puts the damn team on her back. Caitlin puts the team on her back. Points, assists, tempo. And every single thing in this game was a 19-3 game. The team looked like they didn't want to be there. The team, the team looked like they were dead. The team looked like they'd given up. The team looked like it was over. It looked like they've given up on Stephanie White, and it was Caitlin Clark. For anyone saying that this team, they looked like they gave up on each other. They looked like they gave up on winning this game. And we heard coming into the second quarter when they're already getting destroyed, and they start the second quarter on 11-0 run. And you hear, they're like Stephanie White's trying to like hype up the team. And the commentators were saying, they were like, Caitlin Clark as well. They're like, Caitlin Clark took a large percentage of that team talk. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. And Caitlin did everything. She went to the basket. She finished strong. She hit threes. She hit three threes out of 4 in the third quarter, or in the second quarter. And she was this close to hitting her longest three of her pro career. She took from 40. She took the heat check from 40. But yeah, it is a big one. It is a really, really big one. And I felt like this is, in my opinion, one of maybe Caitlin's. Look, Caitlin's having by far the best season of her career. Like, unless your name is Angel Wilson, you're not better at basketball. And you're a WNBA player, you're not better at Caitlin Clark. Not only that, again, Caitlin Clark got called for a foul for getting an elbow to the chest. And she made an unbelievable step back. A call for a travel. Like, the referees fucked Caitlin today. And she still came out 24-9. Incredible.